We gotta talk about this Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair promo, guys. We gotta talk about it, man. And if I'm being completely honest with you guys, this promo was a mess. It was all over the place. It was moments that it was really terrible. Some moments that seemed like a glimmer of hope, but then it'd turn around and then be something terrible again. It was awkward, bro. It was really, really awkward. So before we talk about the promo itself, what I thought was real interesting is both of the women, in Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, were dressed like they were in the same tag team, right? They both were wearing the same all black lingerie, but that's not important to the promo in itself. So, this promo, it was really, really interesting to say the least. Because I saw some things that was really shocking to me. For one, if you look at it from the outside in, you will see that Tiffany Stratton, or you'll feel like she had the advantage, which she definitely did. She definitely had the advantage in this moment, but we got to give a ton of credit to that crowd in Chicago, right? Salute to my city. I love you guys, because every single time that Charlotte Flair tried to say anything, they gave her the Dominic Mysterio treatment. Yo, Chicago don't like who they don't like. Even when she tried to pander, she was like, the smart wrestling fans of Chicago, they know I'm better than you. And the fans was like, oh yeah, thank you, we smart. Boo! Like that did nothing for her. And in those moments, Tiffany Stratton did what she should do as a babyface. Now, although there were moments where she kind of stumbled over her words and then almost like she didn't know when to interject, but for the most part, she held her own. She was pretty solid. She did what babyfaces should do. She included the crowd as far as talking in her promo. But what I thought she did that was pretty solid was when she saw those moments that Charlotte Flair was shaken up by the crowd booing her. She saw those gaps, she saw those holes, and she took advantage of those moments. And that's all you really can, ask from Tiffany Stratton. You don't look to Tiffany Stratton for an amazing classic promo, but she did what she needed to do, right? Any quarterback, on any team that's not super amazing, what do? They have to try not to lose the game. And she did that very, very well. She took advantage of that moment, and that was good for her. But the more interesting thing about this promo is seeing Charlotte Flair, a person who's been in the company for a long time, this specific company, as a heel majority of her career, dealing with people booing and saying all these crazy things to her, to see her get so rattled by that crowd in Chicago was interesting to see. Because you would think with her having this much of experience in doing these type of promos and being a heel in front of these people, she would know how to handle those situations, but she allowed this stuff to get to her. And it got to the point that wherever she had something to say back to Tiffany Stratton, she couldn't say it. She kept getting booed every single time. And I'm sure that was hurting her ego. And even moments where Tiffany Stratton was taking personal shots at her, you can tell that it was hurting her, and it was hurting her even more because she wasn't getting those ooh-ah responses like she normally do. Tiffany Stratton was getting all the ooh responses that Charlotte Flair couldn't get. You can tell she was upset about that. Her ego wouldn't allow another person to get over her in a promo, right? Especially when Tiffany Stratton said something about her crying on another TV show, or especially when she said that Charlotte Flair would never reach the amount of titles that her father had. And when Charlotte Flair said, hey, the other woman who faced me said the same exact things, the fans booed her so much, it didn't even matter what she said. She probably couldn't even hear herself. And then when Tiffany Stratton went all the way out of the window, bro, she lost her mind and said, no matter what you do in this ring, outside of this ring, you're going to be the same, alone. And she said her record in marriages. Bro, what is going on? Tiffany Stratton is on demon time. No.
What is that record? Like
what?
0-3? Woo!
Right. And I knew that was the part that that was a gut punch to Charlotte Flair. That was a gut punch right there. Because again, she tried to say something else, the crowd booed her, and you can tell it really hurt her feelings, because when she tried to say something back, she picked like the most lowest thing to say and say, oh, Kaiser's in my DMs. That's why Kaiser's is in my DMs. And in that moment, I was just kind of like, that was a little cringy. Why did you say that? I understand that the whole marriage thing, like, that's a very personal and hurtful thing for people to go through, right? I understand that. But, since this is professional wrestling, you would think that there's a way that a person who's this experienced in this field as a heel would handle this particular type of thing, right? We're all humans. We get rattled. We get, embarrassed. And I think she felt all of that in that moment. But at the same time, it was just, it was just the whole promo was just cringy to watch. Although Tiffany Stratton looked great in this, it's overall, I personally, as crazy as it sound, given the fact that this whole feud doesn't really have any build going into WrestleMania, I'm okay on any more promos between the two ladies. I mean, we saw what happened when they did the split screen promo. Charlotte Flair pretty much dominated that one and kept cutting Tiffany Stratton off. We see what happened with this one. Charlotte Flair pretty much got embarrassed. Unless they can find some place that's mutual, that's not split screen or not, in the city that's as, I don't know, as enthusiastic as Chicago, which Chicago is a wrestling city. Would you expect? That is what it is. That's what we do. And they have a promo, but honestly, I don't really care to have another promo between these two. Like, if they want to do a backstage vignette or a backstage video, kind of like what Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest did, I'll be absolutely fine with that. But at this point in time, there's really no real story behind this, so we don't have to force stuff or force promos. We don't need to let Charlotte Flair get her get back. We don't need to do any of that. I think at this point, everything that needs to be said has already been said between these two women. This is one of those feuds that's like, okay, let's just get to the match. Let's just have a great match and let's get this over with. But anyway, what do you guys think? Did you guys like this promo? Do you think that they should do more promos leading into WrestleMania? Do I sound crazy in saying what I'm saying? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace. Have a